This woman just told the literal devil to kneel before her. In the show Supernatural, this is Kali, a goddess they describe as destruction, death, and time incarnate. Sounds pretty badass, right? But this is the real Kali from Hindu tradition. Notice anything different? Today, we're diving deep into how one of the most powerful goddesses in the Hindu pantheon got the Hollywood treatment, and what we lose when we sanitize the divine. Because the real story of Kali, it's far more terrifying, more beautiful, and more relevant than anything Supernatural showed us. I'm breaking down mythology versus fiction, so if you're into this kind of deep dive, hit that subscribe button. We've got a lot of gods to unpack.
Season 5 of Supernatural was building toward the apocalypse. Sam and Dean Winchester are caught between Michael and Lucifer, and in episode 19, Hammer of the Gods, they stumble into something unexpected. A secret meeting of old gods. We're talking Odin, Ganesh, Baldur, Mercury, deities from pantheons across the world, all trying to figure out how to stop the Christian apocalypse from destroying their followers. And leading this divine council? Kali. The show positions her as one of the most powerful beings present, someone even other gods respect and fear. She immediately takes control, binding Sam and Dean with their own blood, making it clear that these aren't your typical monsters of the week. But here's where things get interesting. The Kali we see is elegant, politically savvy, and yes, powerful. But she's also remarkably restrained. For a goddess of destruction, she spends most of the episode in meetings and having relationship drama.
To understand what Supernatural got wrong, we need to understand who Kali really is. And fair warning, the real goddess is not for the faint of heart. Kali's name comes from Kala, meaning time, death, or blackness. She represents time as the destroyer, the force that consumes everything. In Hindu philosophy, destruction isn't evil, it's necessary. It's the cosmic recycling that makes rebirth possible. Look at her traditional depictions. Dark blue or black skin, representing the infinite void. 4 arms, holding a sword, a severed head, and making gestures of blessing and fearlessness. A necklace of severed heads. A skirt made of arms. Her tongue extended, dripping blood. And most famously, she's dancing on the chest of Shiva, the destroyer god himself. This isn't violence between them. Shiva represents pure consciousness, and Kali represents the active, creative, destructive force of time. Together, they're the cosmic dance of creation and dissolution. This isn't just ancient mythology, by the way. Millions of people worship Kali today. During Kali Puja, devotees offer her red flowers, sweets, and sometimes animal sacrifices. She's particularly revered in Bengal, where she's seen as the protective mother goddess who destroys evil to protect her children. But let's talk about her most famous myth, because it perfectly captures what makes Kali terrifying and divine.
The story goes like this. There's a demon named Raktabija terrorizing the world. The gods try to kill him. But here's the problem. Every drop of his blood that hits the ground spawns a new demon. The more they fight, the worse it gets. The gods are losing. The world is being overrun. So they call upon Durga, the divine mother who manifests her fierce aspect, Kali. Kali doesn't just fight Raktabija. She drinks his blood mid-battle, catching every drop before it hits the ground. She devours his clones, dances on the corpses, and becomes drunk on the blood of evil itself. The myth ends with Kali so intoxicated by battle that she nearly destroys the world in her victory dance. Only when Shiva throws himself beneath her feet does she realize what she's doing and stop. This is divine fury. This is the goddess who looks evil in the eye and says, "I will become more terrifying than you to destroy you." She doesn't defeat evil through righteousness. She defeats it by being willing to become the monster that monsters fear.
Now, let's go back to Supernatural's Kali with fresh eyes. What did they get right? The show absolutely nails her authority. When she enters a room, everyone pays attention. The other gods defer to her. Even Lucifer treats her as a legitimate threat. They understood that Kali isn't just powerful, she's a leader. The blood magic is actually pretty faithful to her mythological associations. Blood rituals, binding spells, power over life and death, these are all within Kali's wheelhouse. And this moment, when she refuses to kneel to Lucifer, this captures something essential about Kali. She doesn't bow to anyone. She's primal power that existed before Christian cosmology and will exist after it. But here's what they missed, and it's huge. Supernatural's Kali is beautiful, elegant, almost regal. She's dangerous, but in a sophisticated way. The real Kali is raw, primal, terrifying. She's the goddess who dances drunk on blood. Where's the cosmic horror? Where's the tongue dripping with the essence of time itself? And then there's this, the romantic subplot with Gabriel. Look, I get it. TV needs relationship drama. But this completely misunderstands Kali's nature. She isn't someone who has casual relationships with trickster gods. She's either your devoted mother who will destroy the world to protect you, or she's the terrifying force that devours your ego. There's no middle ground. The show treats her like a powerful person who happens to be a god. But Kali isn't a person with godlike powers. She's a cosmic principle that sometimes takes humanoid form. She's time itself, wearing a human mask for convenience. And this is what really bothers me. They make her helpless against Lucifer. She needs Gabriel to save her. The real Kali can't be overpowered like this, because time can't be defeated. She is the force that brings death. Having her need rescue from Lucifer is like saying time itself is weaker than a fallen angel. It's not just inaccurate, it's philosophically nonsensical.
Now, why does this matter beyond just being mythology nerds? Let's talk about what this episode actually says about religious hierarchies. Here's what really bothers me about this episode's setup. All these ancient, powerful deities, gods who individually ruled entire civilizations for thousands of years, apparently can't handle the Christian apocalypse alone. They have to band together just to survive someone else's end times. It's a subtle hierarchy that puts one mythology above all others. This isn't just about supernatural. It's part of a bigger pattern where Western media treats non-Western religions as interesting but ultimately secondary. These deities become exotic supporting characters in stories where Christian cosmology sets the rules of reality. For millions of people, Kali isn't mythology. She's active, living religion. When you're a Hindu viewer watching this, you're seeing your mother goddess reduced to a supporting character who needs rescue. She's not the cosmic force of time and destruction from your tradition. She's just another player in someone else's religious drama. And here's the real tragedy. The authentic Kali would have made for incredible television. A goddess so terrifying that she scares other gods, a divine mother who becomes a monster to protect her children, a cosmic force that challenges our comfortable notions of good and evil. That's compelling storytelling waiting to happen. But it requires treating her as the center of her own story, not a guest star in someone else's.
So what can we take away from all this? First, when you're adapting mythology, especially from active religions, the details matter. It's not just about getting the powers right, it's about understanding the philosophy behind the deity. Second, Sometimes the scarier, weirder, more uncomfortable aspects of mythology are actually the most important parts. Kali drinking demon blood isn't gross-out horror. It's a metaphor for the lengths divine love will go to protect creation. Supernatural's Kali is a powerful woman who happens to be a goddess. The real Kali is the terrifying compassion of time itself, wearing the mask of a woman. One is a character. The other is a cosmic principle that can change how you see life, death, and everything in between. And maybe that's the real lesson here. These stories survived thousands of years, not because they're just entertaining, but because they contain truths about existence that still resonate. When we sand off the rough edges to make them more palatable, we risk losing the very thing that made them sacred in the first place.
This is just the beginning. Every culture has mythological beings that got the Hollywood treatment. Gods, monsters, spirits, heroes, and most of them have stories far stranger and more meaningful than what made it to screen. So, let me know in the comments, what mythological creature should we unpack next? A vampire that's nothing like the folklore? Dragons that lost their wisdom? Wendigos stripped of their cultural significance? And if you want to dive deeper into this kind of content, that subscribe button is your friend. Because trust me, we're just getting started. Links to learn more about Kali and Hindu philosophy are in the description. Until next time, question everything, especially when it comes to the mythological.